What is it about the human hand? 4 fingers and an opposable thumb that can grasp and release, wield and wield. But any ape can do that. No, the human hand, when it stands alone, is not uniquely human. Only in the connection of the hand to the heart and mind can we transcend beyond our animal selves. The hand might grasp and wield, but the mind gives it purpose. Responding to need with invention and ingenuity. Thought perceives a void and directs the hand to fashion and make and change what is. While the heart reaches for beauty and meaning, imbuing our creations with the what could be. That's how I opened the American Hands Journal, that little poem. Now, isn't it interesting that we use the same word, touch, to mean many, many things? I touch the podium. You touch my heart. To touch the world. To change it. To let it change me. It's that ability to change, the ultimate human isosceles triangle of the hand, heart, and mind. That's the inspiration behind all this, behind American Hands. Well, that and 2 other things. How many of you remember Charles Kuralt's On the Road? I used to love listening to him and the replays of his interviews of extraordinary people doing ordinary people doing extraordinary things. He would travel all over the country and find the most remarkable people in nooks and crannies. And the other thing that's been my big inspiration is the WPA program, which I'm happy to say is a little bit before my time, but the government arranged to have amazing photographers, Dorothea Lange, Gordon Parks, Walter Evans, go out around the country, and they would create images to capture and personalize the stories of what people were experiencing through the Depression. And those pictures make us, even today, have a deep connection with those individuals. So I had a lot inspire me and a lot to live up to. You can see from all the pictures around us, what I'm doing is I'm spending times in workshops of various artisans, and I'm capturing not just the processes, I'm trying to convey the story of their passions. But when I was thinking of American Hands, when I was first developing it, the human hand, I mean, it's the whole story, it's the whole world. I had to narrow it down to make it feasible for all of us, for me especially to achieve it, but also for you to absorb what I was trying to say. And as I narrowed it down, I came to the idea of traditional tradespeople. And when I came to that idea, I realized I was talking about the history of our culture and the stories of our culture. And it just resonated for me in the storytelling mode and also my love of our history. When I think back a couple hundred years ago, people living right here lived rather far away from each other. To get to see each other, to gather like this, would be a trek on horseback or by car. And they would make it a big deal. They would get together for a quilting bee or a barn raising. But it wasn't just for the quilting bee that they did it. It wasn't just to build a barn that they did it. It's because they needed that connection. The women needed to sit over the quilting frame and complain about their husbands and get some folk remedies to figure out and try to steal Aunt Mabel's apple pie, right? I mean, that's why we get to each other, because we need to connect, because we want to talk, because we have things to say. And doing it over a quilting room, or quilting frame, gives it a creative dimension so that we start thinking creatively. We start expressing ourselves in a very different way than if I were just to sit and say, I'm having trouble with my husband. You know that husband of mine. It's a very different kind of thing. But also, once we engage our hands, we do engage other parts of us that we may not otherwise have engaged. We do get that creative process going, that connection of the hand, the heart, and mind. It enables a wider perspective within ourselves. What I'm finding very interesting as I travel around taking photographs, giving slideshow presentations, doing these kinds of lectures, is, do you know that there isn't a single town or village where I visited that doesn't have a quilting mill? At least one. Some small towns have several, and they meet regularly. Why is that? You know, we no longer need to travel really hard to get to each other. I think there is something that we are able to do over that quilting mill that even in this digital age, we need. And that's also an important aspect of American Hands for me. I got to tell you a story. I talk to kids a lot, and as I said, I'll go around and tell you about all these people, but I got to tell you about this little girl that I met. She was, I guess, about 12 years old, and she was a teeny bopper. You know, she was really cute. I was in the least enviable position. I'm willing to talk to anybody about American Hands because I love the people that I meet. I love what I'm learning from them, and I just want to share it with everybody. Well, I was taken advantage of. I spoke to a group of about 6 kids, maybe 8 kids, and it was their detention period. Thanks a lot. Like, I'm their punishment? And so I brought my computer and I set it up at the big screen and started telling it, and this little girl's talking to that. Totally involved in herself. So what do? I start talking to her. I said, gee, those are cute jeans you have on. Are they special kind? Oh yeah. Oh look. And she showed me the label. I don't remember what the label was, but it was a very in label. I said, that's cool. Where would you have gotten those 200 years ago? Huh? You would have had to go out and pick the cotton. Ew! And then you would have had to clean the cotton because it's full of all kinds of stuff. And I went through the whole process of spinning and weaving, and she's going, ew, ew, every time. Then I said to her, and what did you have for breakfast? She named some sugary cereal. I said, now where do you think you would have gotten the cereal? And if you wanted milk, you would have had to go to milk the cow. That got the biggest ew you could imagine. But after that, she was quiet for the whole lecture. She was curious now. And at the end, after all her friends had left, because she wouldn't be seen coming up to me when they were there, while I'm packing up my gear, she came up to me and went, you know, Miss Grotta, it makes you think. Not everything comes from the mall. I went, I won! I got her to understand. And that's the whole point of this, is that I think it's important for kids to understand. Adults too. I mean, we love all this stuff. But if we can get kids to understand, in this digital age, we need to not just honor our past, but keep alive the manual skills. The kind of creative thinking and personal growth that I was talking about that's engendered by the hand. We're going to need it to keep our society and our economy vibrant, to help us maintain the sense of adventure and discovery that made us great as a people.